Welcome back to Sikistan and welcome back to Strength Conditioning Coaches React. Today we're doing Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb is an American football running back for the Cleveland Browns, who I assume play somewhere in around New York.
Nick Chubb is an animal.
Nick Chubb is an animal. And on that intro, Nick Chubb exemplifies, I think, what it means to be the best of an athletic person, just to be an absolute horse.
Yeah.
So for no other good reason other than we just want to ooh and ah it, we're going to watch Nick Chubb's combine workout.
Nick Chubb deserves like a protein company discount code.
Oh, I'd say Nick Chubb has one or two. Do you want a bit of sound?
No.
You don't want sound.
Do you want to? Oh.
So these are the classic 40-yard dash that the combine do. And it's so interesting when you see sprinters, they've like that really reaching with the front foot. You see that femur is like parallel with the ground, and then there's that slightly rounded over posture, and then extreme levels of force being just put straight into the ground. Or well, not quite straight into the ground, but
this is definitely one of the things where seeing that in person would just be scary.
I'd love to see that in person.
Yeah.
A good fast sprint always looks great.
And somebody that large.
Yeah.
Somebody that large moving that fast.
You can only wear those kind of tank tops if you're in great shape.
Yeah. They should be banned for everyone else.
Generally reserved for rugby league or rugby union. Usually rugby union.
Or Aussie rules.
Yeah, Aussie rules do love
Aussie
them.
rules players look great in those tops.
Not quite 5'10" and 100 kilos though. So these are some random drills that the NFL use. I've heard a lot of arguments against the combine as it's quite arbitrary in terms of its athletic spotting, but I don't think it matters, and it's such an institution at the moment, I would think.
I was talking to an S&C coach who deals with just American football players.
Right.
And he was saying most decisions are made far away from combine. You know, like most of this first, second, third, fourth round draft picks are already secured. The combine is kind of like a little milestone, a mark in the ground, basically.
I'll tell you what you're on. We're on 13 or 14 reps here now. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23.
It's not
24.
unreasonable to say if you did this with an empty bar, you'd be tired.
26. 27. 28.
Oh my God.
Go on, Nick.
Go on.
29.
Come on.
So the bench press one for max repetitions is the one that probably gets the biggest amount of critique, and that's certainly fair. Muscular endurance in the pecs, in the titties, and in the triceps doesn't really make sense when you're looking for a game that is looking for mostly rate of force development over a pretty quick period of time. A lot of skill, but the max repetitions at approximately 100 kilos just doesn't really make any sense whatsoever.
For me, if I was designing a combine event where it was like upper body power, I'd probably get a pretty good representative of 1 rep max.
Yes.
Then I would say 80%, somewhere between 60 and 80% of 1 rep max, and I want to see max power output at that weight. I think that would tell you a hell of a lot more.
That is, that sounds very good.
It's open for molestation because I feel like people would lie about what weight their 1 rep max was. And then instead of it being 60 to 80%, it would be 55% to 85%. And they'd be like, oh, look at how powerful he is. But it's actually less.
Well, what you could do is add a variable into your equation where it's relative to your body weight. So if you come in and you're a 150 kilo linebacker and they're like, are you sure your bench is 100 kilos? Yeah. I've never
throwing
done
the bar through the ceiling.
and it's just like, and then they're like, all right, let's do 80%.
Yeah.
You know, you're adding a coefficient there where it's like relative to your body weight. I think you could also monitor that a little bit as well if you added a velocity meter to the barbell, and you generally know like that maximum repetitions, like close to 100%, get below, I think, like 1 meter per second generally. So you could build up a lot of data out there if you wanted. But as you say, it seems like a lot of it is selected well before it, and the combine is as much of an institution and a media frenzy, and a very interesting one at that.
A media frenzy that I love.
If I was into NFL,
Yeah.
I would like to watch the combine.
Yeah.
I would be super interested in seeing.
I could not tell you when the combine happens, but I know when it happens every year because it's all over the place.
All the other specific drills make sense. You're getting some kind of visual. Your sprinting makes plenty sense. I thought they used to do the vertical jump, but they don't seem to have included it here.
His one isn't included, but they definitely do it.
I'm going to say it's high.
It's big, I'd say. And they do broad jump as well. I'm going to say his broad jump is quite impressive.
If anyone knows if Nick Chubb is any good at football, I'd be very interested.
It's always the thing with these reaction videos is that we
never-
have no idea how good they are at their sport. We just react to the
Well, when it gets to the team sports players, it's very ambiguous.
Yeah.
You'll get someone in the comments now who'll be like, Nick is just the GOAT. He's a new Tom Brady.
yeah.
There's a footballer I know. And then you'll get someone else will be saying like Nick Chubb
he's the worst linebacker to ever play in the NFL.
Yeah, it's like, and they'll show a load of stats and they'll both make very convincing arguments. Now, what we're looking for Nick is Nick has a couple of very impressive lifts posted online by him or other people. And Nick exemplifies what we always talk about in these S&C React to athletes. And for most of them, when it comes to power sports, and I'd include the NFL in that, it's heavyweights fast. Heavyweights fast.
Yeah.
Heavyweights fast. And a lot of times people are like, wait, how can you move heavyweights fast? So when we're looking at these athletes are looking into the absolute performance. So it's not like relative to themselves, which would matter for people watching this. They're looking at world records. So the absolute weights are quite important. It's as heavy as weights as they can move, depending on the sport, within reason. Usually it's the throwers, power athletes, NFL would be included in this. And it's heaviest weights they can manage while still moving them fast. So if you can move 200 kilos at a certain speed, usually, like Dara talked about, generally around that 80 to 90% is where you'll see a lot of that force development or rate of force development work kind of done. Then if you can move that up to 300 kilos, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah.
So generally, rate of force development is associated both with explosive strength training and maximal resistance training. So it's associated with both of those. And there's a lot of different reasons involved in that. And there's things like neurological conditioning, there's like coordination, there's parts where it's like maximum velocity contraction is improved with people who have a lot of force development, like in terms of just like absolute levels, who are just really strong people. A lot of the times, rate of force development, the initial muscle contraction, how much of that muscle is incorporated into the initial contraction, what percentage of it is kind of related and can be related quite well, depending on the studies you look at, with people who are very, very strong. Now, if you include both of those avenues in your training, there's a great chance you're going to be a powerful athlete. So maximal strength training, or close to it, being strong essentially, and then explosive strength work.
I think one of the things where a lot of people get lost in this is that Owen's talking about rate of force development and its relationship to the muscle, right? And so a lot of people will think, most of us now will understand the fact that a lot of strength is based purely on the size of the muscle, and in combination with that, the neuromuscular elements of that, right? So how much of the muscle we can turn on. If you can train yourself to turn on more of that muscle, so more of those fibers firing earlier on in that kind of motor cognition sequence, then you're going to be a hell of a lot more powerful. And this is all a very nice way of leading us into a very, very heavy power clean that's really fast, but the technique isn't perfect.
For a double.
So
As well as that, you can think of strength, like maximal strength, as like your ticket to being a powerful athlete in your sport. It doesn't guarantee you'll be good. Otherwise, people like, Ray Williams and John Hack would be the most talented athletes in the world. But it gives you the opportunity, along with other variables like your genetics and along with your training and how long you've been doing it, give you the opportunity. But it is quite an important one. So I assume these are 45s, and that would make this like 182 for a double. First one's a power all day.
All day long.
What Nick does amazing is he does contact better than a lot of amateur weightlifters do. So it's minimal contact, and he's always focusing on pulling underneath, which is the most important part of the clean and even the power clean. First one, it's incredible.
It is just so, so good.
It's slick is what I call it.
Yeah. We talk about disrespecting barbells.
Mm-hmm.
He made a fool of 182 kilos.
Made a fool of
it.
Now, what's funniest about this is what I assume is a fellow NFL athlete, Isaiah McKenzie, says, bro, you gotta chill. At NFL, how I get tested every week and he don't.
I never saw that comment.
Oh, that is so funny. Lots of NPCs with blue ticks in the comments here. It's very interesting to see how they're all kind of circle things each other. It's interesting.
Everybody's watching.
Now, Nick, aside from that dude who did the amazing front squat at 215, probably one of the best squats I've seen of any sport.
Yes.
Certainly up there.
I would certainly say the base of his athleticism sits firmly upon his squat.
Now, this is 495, which is about 225 kilos for perfect techers, in my opinion,
Yeah.
for a sport, for anyone really. What makes me violently ill, though, is the fact that he's doing these in clown shoes. Or
I knew for a fact that was going to be the first thing you brought up.
the moon shoes.
The moon shoes. It's look that's another element of complexity. Like he's working with a facility or a constraint here.
Yeah.
That is just, you'll see his heels are even rolling around. But these squats are so good.
They're so good. No belt, no knee sleeves. And we talk about that a lot for athletes as well. And we say, look, you don't have to do it without belt and knee sleeves. If you can move 20 or 30 kilos heavier for faster reps with your belt and knee sleeves, you should wear them. However, it is a good idea to train without them at certain points.
Full raw natty vegan.
Full raw natty vegan, not even getting tested in the NFL.
Yeah, they're phenomenal squats.
Now, you might be impressed by that, Dara.
Yeah.
You're like 225 for
Right.
a couple of reps.
This is a negative of the secret tab system that I'm not able to read from here.
You're like, oh, that's, Jesus, I wouldn't want the rugby player doing more than that. Probably would want an NFL player doing more than 225 for reps. That's great, especially he's like 100 odd kilos.
Yeah.
Well, what about if I said, oh, let's do 302 kilos for reps,
Oh,
306 kilos for reps?
goodness
What if I
gracious.
said that? What if I said that to you, Dara?
Oh my god.
So I like these shoes better.
Yeah,
He's in
way better.
Metcons. Bearing it.
Oh my god.
Sick. That was so fucking
Oh
good.
my god.
That was sick. 306 kilos, 675 pounds.
This is just Jesus Christ.
That's insane. I'm really impressed that he was allowed to do this, to be honest.
Yeah. They're all hyped as well. Everybody's watching this.
Would you love to get in there with your
Oh, I would.
psychology?
I'd love to be in and around that.
Standing in the corner
just
with-
slapping asses.
No, I
ticking
meant-
boxes.
I meant as a professional psychologist,
sorry.
sports psychologist.
Psychologically, no.
You wouldn't like to be standing in the corner
I just like to be one of the lads in there.
taking notes.
Let's go.
You wouldn't like to be
Let's go.
You wouldn't like to be in the
I
corner.
would like to review the footage. Like, oh, that's interesting.
Would you like to interview the players?
He's looking over there. I'd like a semi-structured interview process
Yeah,
following this.
that's what I'm asking you.
Yeah,
Would you
yeah,
like
yeah,
that? I
yeah.
knew you'd like that.
I
yeah.
would like that, yeah. If I was in this situation and in that environment, I'd find it very hard to keep the lab coat on and not start
Yeah, slapping
Let's
at,
go. Yeah.
attempting to
slapping asses.
attempting 675 yourself. Now, what I don't really agree with is this earthquake bar squat, which no idea what weight it is. I'm going to say somewhere around 280 to 320.
No, this is, do you know what? This is negligent because those lads who are spotting on the side have plates coming at them at a 45-degree angle. There is no way, unless that person has a forklift in front of them. What happens? If a clip goes there, you're gonzo.
Oh, you are. You are actually gonzo.
You're like number 3 draft pick for the NFL next year. And, oh, sorry, I actually don't have feet or shin bones because...
No, what happened was when the plate went this way, it was the equivalent force of Mike Tyson in his prime with an uppercut to the jaw.
in the name of God, did someone look at that and say, this is a good thing to do?
My prime issue with this is the extreme negligence of letting them do that. There used to be a coach in the left. I think he's got a whistle around his neck, and he should be ashamed of himself.
In this shot alone, there's conceivably $500 million of
athlete.
Like if you look at earning potential over the course of their career, there's 4 or 5 of them injurable there. Easily $500 million in earning potential gone.
You have to take into account the psychological trauma that the other players would also encounter.
They're done. They'll never squat again.
From seeing one of their friends get their heads just taken off them, you know? Like Nick is on the ground, his jaw's hanging off him, he's after getting uppercut by the bar.
Yeah.
And what's Nick Chubb gotten from this?
Nothing.
Absolutely nothing.
It would have been so beneficial just to do another heavy 300 kilos for a single.
Like, so the reason for this, and there's quite an interesting debate around this, and if you remember from Joel Seedman, that whole debacle, that whole terrible thing that happened a couple of years ago, was it like 2 years ago, where people are talking about, you know, he used to promote training on Bosu balls and stuff like that, and lots of other uneducated coaches promoted it for the purpose of increasing stability, not for the purpose of rehab. And there's different purposes around that, and there seems to be some good evidence for that if you're rehabbing knees and ankles and stuff. But if you're primarily training on an unstable surface, what's essentially happening is your body is dampening the force output, because your body goes, oh shit, we're on a canoe and we can't put a lot of force out here, and we shouldn't put a lot of force out because this is dangerous for our muscles. We can't coordinate really well. We might fall off into an environment which has dinosaurs, and as we know, dinosaurs are crocodiles.
Yeah.
And so crocodiles
And they're made of lava.
So it's been around for a long time, so you can't fall into the water. Now, this is different than doing a movement on an unstable environment with an unstable object. There is certainly some merit to that, and you do get some stability from that, some stability training. However, you need to take it this far? I think not.
I think not. Yeah, it really, it's like stability training works, right? Balance training works. Stability training, definitely for those tendon and ligament issues in the knees, ankles, and hips where people have to relearn that proprioception and understand where they are. That's not what's happening here. This is one of the S&C coaches had to go home early for lunch, and they're like, lads, just finish up your squats. And they're like, whoa,
Yeah.
let's go. Yeah, it's worrying.
So we'll move on from the worrying aspect of that, and we'll move on to a 420 kilo, I'm going to call it a clean because it's not quite a power clean.
Oh,
The speed under is incredible.
geez, I would call that a power graph.
His turnover power and control of the barbell is very impressive.
Oh my God.
190 kilos seems right around what the freakiest of freak
Yeah.
NFL athletes can do on a good day.
Yeah.
I'm sure he could do more training, but
Also, considering it's 190 kilos at 100 kilos body weight, you know, it's not like we see throwers throwing around massive weights for cleans and hand cleans, but they're 140 kilos.
yeah,
He's 100 kilos and he can sprint 40 yards in a second.
4.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think.
It's ludicrous.
Now, we've got a little bit of extra training of him here from at least 2 years ago. So I really like his power clean technique. He just really doesn't emphasize contact, which is amazing, which is what he should be doing. And if he just made contact a little bit later and kept his shoulders over for a little bit longer, he'd have a perfect clean. But essentially, it's very good as it is at the moment. So these are just some lighter stuff. So
Yeah, I really don't think he should be looking to change that clean technique.
yeah. So Nick Chubb emphasizing the Sikhistan national athletic principles of heavyweight fast for the S&C aspect.
Big squats,
Big squats, big fast,
high speed, low drag,
high speed. I'm pretty sure that's somebody's
rogue.
trademark. No, was that not?
That was rogue fitness.
Why not again
High speed, low
faster?
drag.
What was theirs?
I don't think, I don't know what again faster. I think rogue was high speed, low drag. I think I have it on a t-shirt at home. It could be an again faster t-shirt though.
High speed, low drag. That's a great one.
Yeah.
No.
I used to have
Pursue your evolution.
high speed, low drag spray painted on a bed sheet hanging in my shed at home.
It's pretty
Yeah.
corny.
Yeah. Oh, it was corny. I had another one about pain, but I can't remember what it was right now.
No pain, no gain by any chance? Pain is weakness leaving your
Pain
body.
is weakness leaving the body could well have been it. But yeah, absolute animal.
Yeah. Thanks for watching.